Hello and welcome to DDOcast, episode 297, recorded live on August 4th, 2013. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online around 4 p.m. nearly every Sunday. You can watch us through G+ Hangouts or on a website at DDOcast.com. I'm your host today, Siegfried Trent, and with us is lovely producer Ed Wife and Trent. Hello, darling.
Hello, DDOcast listeners.
And we also have, with no ambulances, from DDOgamer.com, Jeff Hanna.
Sound effect and drama-free as always. Nice to join. Happy DDO Day to you all.
Oh, well, thank you. And a happy DDO Days to the Mighty Cyber Ears for hosting our audio files. Thank you, gentlemen. On the podcast this week, we have game news, community news, DDO Gamer action, and general chit-chat about whatever comes to mind because Ann and Sig are kind of lazy with the show notes. And also, there really wasn't a whole lot of news this week, as you are about to discover. So what kind of game news do we have? Well, over the weekend, there have been login problems for those affected. Not a whole lot of fun this weekend. For those not affected, well, I guess you didn't notice. I didn't. I was able to log in and play just fine, but apparently a lot of people are having trouble logging into the game and getting randomly booted out while they're in the game. So they'll be playing and then whammo, kicked to the curb. Not fun at all. Turbine is apparently working on the problem, trying to identify it. They've been working over the weekend. Cordovan's been posting updates, trying to get people to give information, to try and figure out what's going on so they can get people up and playing again. So they're working hard at it, but have not sorted it out yet, apparently. There's going to be a change to the challenge rewards. I saw this on the forums. Vargoyle announced that the Evening Star challenge ingredients will be bind to account as of update 19. Well, it's a ways out, but good news. I know that.
What are they now? Are they bound?
They're
to
bound to
character?
character, so you can only use them on the character that ran the actual challenges, which is pretty lame considering you need a lot of them. It's, I've never even looked at what I can make with the Evening Star challenges because of that. So I'm sure there's something decent.
I went through and I experimented with it because it was a new system.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's even worse than you described it because the rewards are random also.
Oh yeah.
So.
Really?
Right, so it starts out as like a quarterstaff, and it's going to have one thing on it, and then it randomizes the rest. So, on top of that, you're doing that with bind to character ingredients. It's really, really kind of pernicious. I don't think it's very popular.
Yeah, pretty lousy. All said and done. Yeah, I don't know anybody who collects those and does those things for anything but the experience points or the favor. Purple Dragonite favor is a good reason to run them. That's the main reason most people I know have run them. Plus, you get some XP. There was a lot of XP on them for a little while, but then they tamped that down a bit. So, yeah, the challenge rewards, not too exciting. Anyway, that's better. If I collect enough of them, I'll trade them in for whatever I can get. And then if it's not very useful, I'll sell it or something.
No, the thing you get is bound to. I don't think you can sell it.
That's even better.
You know what? I could be wrong about that, but that's the way I remember it. So.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Some of the things you turn in for don't have a cash value. Wow. Get out of my own show. This is terrible.
You didn't get any caffeine there, did you, Sig?
Yeah, I haven't eaten in a little while today. All right. Speaking of challenges, Crystal Cove continues. Euphonia's challenge will remain open until August 11th. So still lots of time to check that out if you like. Unlike Evening Star challenges, there are lots of good prizes that you can get from Euphonia's challenge, all kinds of neat things to spend your goodies on, and it's quite a lot of fun to do, so well worth the time if you haven't done it before, or even if you just want to go back and check it out when it shows up seasonally. DDO Store news for the week, 25% off of character slots, questing tools, XP Elixir, Heroic Tomes of Learning, healing items, and spell point potions, so pretty good lot of stuff, especially spell point potions. Those are always really nice. Also, the sample of the week, and I've never seen this one before, is an Adventure Pack Guest Pass X1 APGP3. So that's kind of a cool thing. I'll probably grab one. I don't think they time out, so I can share it with people who are free to play or whatever if they want to go on some adventure.
Which adventure pack is it for?
I have no idea. I don't know how those work, actually. I figured it was just some generic thing that you're like, hey, the next adventure pack you want to do, you can go on. But I have no idea. Never bought one.
The ones I've purchased for guildies and stuff in the past have all been very specific to an adventure pack, and sometimes they come in different amounts. Like, you can buy a 90-minute or a 180-minute.
Oh, okay.
And, like for the Veil. or you know whatever that adventure pack is.
How interesting. Huh.
Could be all. So.
Maybe, yeah. A universal guest pass, that would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be. Can use
I think
it
I'm
for
going to have to
any
get
of
one.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll check it out. But APGP3, it says Adventure Pack Guest Pass is the name of the item. So, cool. Creature Companion Mystery Baskets are available through August something. I don't remember exactly. 13th, something like that. Apparently, they are a mystery pack of one of 5 different creature companions that you can get. My understanding is that they are different than the normal creature companions, aka you can't get them anywhere except through the mystery basket. They apparently come in different rarities, so according to the description, you have a 5% chance to get a special pseudo-dragon, for instance, but everything else is of some unknown percentage. Yeah, I think, obviously the pseudo-dragon is a model we have, so I'm guessing these are creatures that we already have models for, but you're getting different images. I tried one out, and I was like, well, okay, why not? Let's see what's in there so I can report on it. I got a tuxedo tressum, so it's a tressum with a tuxedo cat style where it's got the little white socks and the black body and white face. So, I don't know. It was cute. It costs about the same as a regular creature companion. Certainly some people in the forums complaining that they're not really happy about the idea of booster packs for creature companions that they can't get otherwise. Especially people who want to collect them all. They really feel a bit, if they've got to buy, with a 5% chance, you got to roll for 20 of them.
It would be different if you could trade. It would be different if you could trade them.
You can put them on the auction house. So
yeah,
I mean trade the cat after you open the pack.
You
can magic cards. Oh, you can. Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's kind of the redeeming feature of it. These people are like, well, no one's going to trade the rare one, but that's probably not true. Somebody will if you give them a good trade for it.
You know what I'm going to do, because I like pets? I'll probably buy 5 of them and see what happens.
Ooh,
oh, jeez.
Big spender.
I did buy one. I couldn't resist. I bought one.
What did you get?
I got a tressum, a Savannah tressum.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of striped. It's a pretty kitty. But yeah, I think all of the models are tressums and pseudo dragons, and one would have to assume the miniature owlbear might be in there somewhere. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Probably.
Curious thing to do. I don't know. I kind of wish they told you which ones are in there. But there's also a typo in the item description. It's worded very strangely. Anywho, mystery baskets are out there if you're inclined, and I do like my tuxedo tressum, so can't say that I felt like my money was ill spent or anything. Let's see. Wow, that is like all the game news for the week that I could find.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, there's a ton of posts about the login problem. I mean, there's a lot of that. There's Jerry closing a bunch of threads where people are insulting Turbine developers, so there was that.
Poor Turbine developers. And they're busy this week, too. They're crunch time, trying to put out a new expansion pack and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, tricky times. So, yeah, and that's why it's quiet, generally. They're working behind the scenes on stuff for the expansion, no doubt. Trying to get it all ready in QA'd. I know exactly how that process goes. It can be pretty hectic. I don't know. That's about it. So, DDO Gamer, what do you got for us as far as stuff going on over there?
Well, I have things from people who are not me. AZ Green Tea has an interesting series going where he posts about half of the posts sort of in character, and he's got the story of Sire and the Mournlands really resonates with him, and he when he makes a post, it's about half somehow tied into that, and then the other half is talking about game experiences and so forth. So he writes some interesting stuff, and he's on this week. Of course, Mizuru's on this week, as most weeks, saying something that's really going to incite people's attention because she's good at that. I wrote some stuff, too, 2 most relevant posts in the past week where I worked up a druid, my Gamer Girls druid, using the new enhancement system. And I do have an actual, honest-to-God, DDO Gamer exclusive permission to write about the new enhancements, even though they are technically covered under the non-disclosure agreement. So, but I asked, and they said, yes, you can write about them anyway. Go right ahead. And so I did. In this particular case, I took my Gamer Girls Druid, and I had to because I couldn't log on to Lamania. I don't know what that issue was all about. It took me forever to figure. I eventually, the third or fourth time, I completely wiped out the client and reinstalled it. I finally got it to work right. That's my bad, though.
Yeah.
I think. Probably.
Blame the shed of
her client, which is why I have to. Yeah, so her client worked fine, so which is why I'm taking the blame on my own on that one. I'm not blaming Turbine for any of that. So we took advantage of that. I mean, I don't have an Epic Druid, so this actually worked out kind of good because it allowed me to check out the Epic Druid enhancements, and I wouldn't have really had a good way into that otherwise. So her Druid she has a very unique play style with it because the Druids come with a lot of dot spells, more than any other caster class. So she doesn't bother with turning into... I mean, sometimes she turns into wolf form because she thinks it looks cool when it jumps, but she doesn't melee ever. Not at all. She runs as fast as she can, and she dots every monster, and by the time it catches her, it's probably going to die. The dots take them all out. So it's kind of interesting to run with her because every time your melee catches up to a monster, it just explodes from ice damage before you can swing at it. So it's you feel a little bit superfluous. I think that anyway. So we went through and we did up the enhancements. Druids, I think, are the first class I've done up so far that I think come out better than they did before the enhancements. I think this is going to be a more powerful class in pretty much every way. So their spell power is way up. Not specifically with the elements they want, but also their universal spell power is way up. And unlike all of the other caster classes, they still have enhancements for spell critical chance. So I think that actually Druids come out of this probably being the best elemental casters in the game. If they weren't already, I think they definitely are now. So let's see, are there any specifics from that are worth talking about? I don't know. You go to DDO Gamer and check it out. You'll see the list of her old enhancements and the list of her new enhancements, and you can compare things like her spell powers and hit points and armor class before and after, and see how it worked out. I'm not sure. I haven't seen another Druid like her. Most of the people I know playing Druids are into hitting things, especially when they get up into the epic tree and all that so forth. But really, it's quite a powerful character. Anyway.
Cool.
Anything on that, or move on to the next one?
Yeah, I don't know. I had a friend who was testing out Druids on there, and he has a strange Druid in that he's a bear tank. So, an aggro tank in bear form. And he had a little trouble. He didn't have enough things to spend his enhancement points on. Like, he didn't really want the spell power and some of the other stuff, so he ran out of useful enhancements to use his points on. But also, I forget what race he was, but his race didn't. I think it was half orc or something, and that didn't really help him all that much either. So he ended up just sort of, I don't know. He was a little disappointed. He felt like he needed one more line, something that he could use for more melee attacks. I haven't looked at the Druid things myself. I haven't put my Druid over there, so.
Okay, well, there you go. If you're a Druid caster, you're in good shape. If you're a Druid melee, we'll see. The other thing is, along with, as you two know, because in fact it was at your invitation that I was able to attend, I went to a press tour of the Stormhorn Mountains, where Turbine was running a Twitch TV event, and we were invited to join. And I mean, I'm talking. It's weird for me to be telling you guys about this because you were there. You invited me.
Well, we're telling the audience, right? Yeah.
Well, you're telling the audience, so we're good.
So, you know what? It turns out I'm a much better fan than I am a reporter, So I forgot to do things like write down who we were talking to. My audio sucked. It really did. My audio was terrible the whole time. Plus, I was trying to keep up talking to you guys, so I missed half of the stuff that was said. So you're not going to get a lot of detail about reading what I wrote about the press tour. But, and not only that, I forgot that when you play DDO, you press the print screen button, and it does a screen capture and saves it into your Dungeons & Dragons Online folder automatically, right? But we weren't playing Dungeons & Dragons Online, right? We were watching. So I'm hitting print screen for half of the press tour and doing nothing. Nothing. So, Fortunately, figured it out halfway through. So I did manage to escape with a few screenshots. They're not great, but Turbine supplied some as well, so I was able to fill in the gaps. So if you're curious about the Stormhorn Mountains, I think we should probably all talk about our impressions of it because you guys were there too.
Sure.
My article is there on DDO Gamer. I can tell you my first impression was just that the art has been really kicked up a notch. I mean, it's really beautiful.
I would say the graphics engine is all the way up.
Yeah, well, I don't imagine they've changed a lot of the engine, but it's a very different art style, and it looks like they had some, probably some different artists working on some of it. So I think it pops a lot more. There's a lot more contrast between the lights and the darks, and generally it's a lot lighter looking environment than most of the areas are. But Eberron had always been sort of muted's the right word, but it's got a lot of mix of orange and yellows and grays and browns and things. Which can be very pretty, but also after a while can kind of mulch together. And then, the new area is very sun-drenched in a way, partly because of the skybox and the way that works. And then this one is, it's got that harsh contrast of white snow and dark trees and blue skies and stormy mountains and things. And so I found it was just a lot more striking visually, it was, especially first impression. So I really liked it.
Yeah, me too. And part of it I think is because there's pine trees, right? I think deciduous trees are harder to model, so I think these look better. But there was wildflowers, and it's not just the environment that looks better, although it looks way better. But even the orcs look better, and they're orcs. So we have now new, improved, now with more orcishness, but. The orcs look good, and I don't know. Do we want to talk about? I don't even remember much about the quests. I remember we ran to them, and we jumped into them, and we looked around, and I think we mainly finished out, except for the one where it would be too spoilery to talk about what happened at the end.
Yeah, I guess so. They showed us, I believe, 3 quests as they were going along. It was part of a. I guess there are 2 series of quests. There's one that's all about the Shadowfell conspiracy and their temples, and then there's this series that takes place up in the Stormhorn Mountains. And they were definitely very cool. We didn't get to run through the quests. We were watching people play essentially, and so they were teleporting around to different areas, saying, "Check this out! Check this out! Here's some new monsters." They were talking about how the new harpy monsters can kind of get together and use group tactics to an extent. They'll, if they get together, they'll all do a simultaneous attack.
So they all have. That's a new monster mechanic basically, and they have group tactics. So an individual satyr or harpy will react differently in its group environment. So if there's a pack of them, you'll see different spell uses and different ways of taking you down as a player.
Yeah. Is that the swarming behavior they were talking about?
I guess so. My impression is they'll do special spells when they're together. We've sort of seen that a little bit, say, with like the drow priestesses who sacrifice their brethren when they die in order to keep living. So there's more interaction between the monsters, I guess, in such a way that creates different tactics for the players to deal with them.
Right. I call it swarm AI. They'll probably have a different AI comparatively from one monster set to another.
Yeah, could be. So
the only downside I saw was no raid.
Right.
I don't think there's a raid anywhere in the expansion, is there?
No. No. They said that there wasn't early on, but they hinted that maybe they might get one done in time, but it looks like no. I haven't seen any indication that they have one. So this would be a raidless expansion pack. They've got 10 quests in it, I believe. Mm-hmm. And as most people noticed, compared to the previous expansion pack, kind of slim pickings as far as content goes. Seems to be a lot of art assets. There's a lot of cool new art in it, but that was true of the last one as well. So I don't know. Definitely a bit more limited, I would say. You get the enhancement system, of course, which is great for crunch heads like me, but if you're just looking for adventures, this one's a little shy. They do look pretty good, but we don't know how long they are. Because, like I said, we didn't really run through an adventure. We just saw bits and pieces of them as we poured it around. Or we poured it around. They poured it around. We watched. But
we watched them pour it, right.
Yeah. And
so now there was one. I can tell you my favorite part of the wilderness area, though.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Orc forts. I mean, for one thing, it's fun to say. But for another, when I was a DM, that is exactly the kind of thing I would do to my players.
Yeah.
I loved tactical challenges. I'm not a role-playing guy. I mean, I'll do it, but I like to give them, how are you going to solve this problem? And some of it's puzzles, but a lot of it was just tactical. So I'd come up with, there's a fort, and it's this big, and it's got a ballista, and it's manned, look out, and there's a door. What do you do? Well, you know what? We've got orc forts now. And I like that. I think that's awesome.
That's cool. I think my favorite thing was jumping off the mountains, because you can pretty much sail all the way down from the top of the mountains, and they're quite high, and it's quite a big area, so it's a nice free fall. Yeah, I enjoy that.
I think my favorite was probably they have new interactions with the environment. So there are some tactics. There are activatable items in some of the quests, and they can modify how you encounter some of the monsters or mobs in the quest. So I think that it's a good start, and I want to see more of it.
Yeah, they're saying one of the quests works a bit more like a challenge in terms of the way the quest progresses. So that sounded kind of interesting. Different ways that you can succeed at it, or different objectives that you can meet for different rewards during the quest. So I think that's kind of cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Not as good as an orc fort, though. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were saying that that each time you encounter one of the forts, you'll get a relatively different assortment of creatures in there and things. So that's kind of cool. Definitely mixing it up with the outside environments, making them more dynamic, more versatile, which I think is really cool.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Oh, and then the other thing that we saw, I guess, we can talk about everything we saw in the press tour, right?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Was the ability to jump between worlds without having to go between worlds.
Right.
So that's a really good feature and a really good idea.
Yeah, especially these days. Yeah, there's a Hall of Heroes, which is kind of an interdimensional tribute to Eberron and the Forgotten Realms' finest, I guess, and it allows you to more or less walk between the two different worlds. So I thought that was really
Yeah, and they invested some work in there too. If you want, it's pretty if you wander around in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah. One of the things they mentioned was that they had been improving the scaling technology. So things expand, or objects that look bigger or smaller are a little bit nicer than they were before. Now, I don't know if this technology is only limited in the new area or if they propagated it throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, they've made some improvements over the years. I remember at first, if you were out in, say, the first kind of big open area was the quest, Tempest Spine. And you really were pretty limited on how far you could see in there. You never really realized how big the area was until you wandered around a bit. And then over the years, with Giant Hole, then they got some new technology, and with the Veil, yet more new technology, and they just kind of keep upping that as time goes on, which makes for some great screenshots. And this new wilderness area definitely had that look about it.
Yep, great if you're an archer too.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, apparently this one is not quite as big. It's a very large adventure area, but it's not quite as big as the King's Forest is. However, they took steps to make it easily navigable, so it's a little harder to lose your way in the adventure area, partly because it's so open, you can kind of see where you're going. Oh, yeah, we're going up to the mountains. So you can see the mountains in the distance, and then you end up climbing them as you go, which was a pretty neat trick. So some cool stuff like that.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed that they made a comment about how the new area, the Stormhorn Mountains, was one of the highest points in the game.
Yeah,
sort of like in the area, up at the top. So if you're wondering if you go to the highest point and do /loc, you'll probably get a very, very, very high Y index value.
Might have to update the D&D Book of Records. We'll see.
Yeah. How far can you go by doing /loc?
Yeah, you would think that the Vaughn 6 would have the highest one, but apparently it doesn't for whatever reason.
I thought Vaughn 2 did.
But yeah, it does actually. Yeah, I think the highest run was recorded in Vaughn 2. But you would think, since Vaughn 6 looks down on the planet, that it would actually have a much higher value, right?
Yeah.
It's in space. Come on.
It's in space. It should be the highest, but it's not.
No, it has a different baseline of some kind.
Yeah.
In space, no one can accurately measure your Z coordinate.
That's right.
Clearly. Well, and so that was DDO Gamer for the week. Next week, I'm going to be writing up rogues. I've got an assassin. It's not mine, but it's my gamer girl's again. An assassin that we've done up the enhancements. I'll be writing that up. And
cool.
Other than that,
sounds great.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I like doing those comparisons. All right, so let's move on to the what you've been doing in DDO section. I will start. We just finished today. We did some Shadow Crypt farming, which is one of the higher XP quests, kind of right in the mid-range. It's a level 9, so you do it. Usually run it on level 11 on Elite, and found over on the DDO Wiki a really nice guide for doing it with 2 people that makes it surprisingly fast. You don't get the extra chests, but basically each person you split up, you do 4 to 5 rooms, and then you end up meeting back at the end of the quest, each of you with the keys that you need in order to finish, and it's got a variation for each of the 3 different layouts for the thing, and yeah, it's a breeze. I mean, we were doing it in, I don't know, how long did that take, about 5-10 minutes a run, something like that?
We were able to do 4 runs in 1 hour.
Yeah, so not bad at all. Yeah, so maybe like 10-15 minutes each one. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was pretty easy. You know, I kind of had to get my tactics down on my druid to figure out how to efficiently get through there with my somewhat limited mana pool, but sorted that out. Worked pretty good. I definitely had fun with it. So, and ridiculous amount of XP. You know, we got like at least
the
half a
first
level
time
doing
in
that.
with a sovereign host pot, the 50% plus, it was 65k
Holy crap!
XP.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
And then 25 for each of the subsequent runs.
So it was like 31, 25, 25 is what we got. K.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was good times.
Good times.
All in under an hour. So I highly recommend that technique. It's quite nice. It helps to have an opener for Shadow Crypt, so you don't have to run all the other Shadow quests that are kind of boring and tedious and long.
Right. And then what do you do? Window farm it?
Yeah.
Yep. A bit of that, and then not so much when you want to change the difficulty, but I do it on Elite a few times. Then we finished off with a run on Hard. Let's see what else we got. I did the TR train again this week. We're up to the level 17, 18 range. We did the quests to move over from Stormreach over to Evening Star because somebody wanted to run the new quests in Evening Star, so we did that. I think we qualified for 18, but people haven't taken their levels yet. I'm not sure. But having fun with that, playing my melee artificer with that group at the moment. Although I switched over to my little dwarven tank to do the crossover from one realm into the other realm, just because I wanted to get him over there and get a little XP on him. But he's having trouble. He doesn't have a resistance item, and his evasion started to kind of poop out on him.
Poop out?
Yeah. And the elite Rakshasa lords were just lighting his butt up with lightning bolts and stuff, and so I'm like, resistance item would be a good idea on this character, so working on that. I mean, he has pretty good saves, but they just didn't quite muscle up to his uber tankiness that he's supposed to have. How about you, Dylan?
Oh, well, I pretty much did what you did. Sometimes I wonder why you ask me.
But you play different characters, maybe a slightly different perspective on it.
Oh, well, yeah, well, I'm playing, with the TR train, I'm playing an orc barbarian, and she's doing quite well. I need to upgrade her gear on that. Unfortunately, I pooped out late at night. It's like, I'm so sleepy. Oh, can I pike? They were really nice and let me pike in the quests. It's like, I don't want to do these. I'm done.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you were just going to go to sleep. But they're like, no, put your character in the quest. We'll finish it for you.
Like, all right. Make me work. It's just kind of funny. I was starting to run into walls. It's like, oh, it's time to go to sleep when you like nod your head and you look up and there's a wall and not an enemy in front of you. So, yeah, and Shadow Crypt this new way is a lot better. That's actually making it fun.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. It was nice and efficient, and not real sloggy and confusing. So
yeah,
I did like that. Cool. What about you, Jeff?
Well, also working some TRs. My gamer girl and I were milking Litany of the Dead for some XP.
Also a good one.
Yeah, and she managed to keep her streak alive, adding, I don't know, 7 or 8 more times through the Litany of the Dead without ever successfully getting down through that, the
stupid trap.
the traps at the bottom. that may not be fair. I think she might have made it through one time. I don't know. Whatever. It's not that it's there's something about that doesn't get her. That she just doesn't get. And it's not that I'm good at it. I die about 20% of the time on Elite. And the rest of the time I can get through pretty good. I don't know. She's a great player. She's very talented, but those traps just get her.
Well, if you just turn the wrong way and you don't turn around immediately, then that'll get you. So if you just go the wrong way for more than a half second, then you're pretty much done in there.
Oh, on Elite, it's completely unforgiving. Completely. If the worst for me is that my guy grabs the wall. I'm trying to drop down, and he says, I'm just going to hang here. And it's like, no! No, damn it. So, all right, so we did that and ripped off some other level 15 stuff. Went over to Evening Star and did the level 15s on Evening Star. So we're 18, and she's banking that we're 17, banking 18, and she's bumping up against having to take the level. Yeah. Probably the next quest she'll have to. Then we also did some Cove stuff, and I was just going to completely stay away from the Cove this episode because I really have done a lot of coving in my time. But my gamer girl wanted something, so we went over there, and she's like, well, while you're here, maybe you should try to collect something. So I looked, and I realized, well, I don't have a glass cannon. I do have an artificer that might want one someday. So now I'm back on the Cove treadmill trying to get a glass cannon for my currently 17th level artificer.
Cool. Yeah, I should grab one of those at some point. I might even have the stuff for it. I collected a whole bunch of stuff last time and never turned it in.
I have everything except the gems. This is a really high gem requirement on this guy. The shards are easier to get than the gems.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I guess I need to find some other people that need gems because you can go through and empty that whole dungeon faster than winning.
Right.
So you can actually hit 3 or 4 runs if you're on a gem-only run while the Cove is open. But it's hard to find like-minded people who want to do that.
Right. Yeah, most people are trying to finish it, but yeah, it's a good way to do it.
So here's a tip for when you're doing Litany of the Dead. Speed boosts will actually work while you're falling.
Oh, to make you fall faster?
Mm-hmm.
Huh, interesting.
So long as you don't have feather fall, they'll make you fall faster.
Of course, when we did it, I greased everybody so that I could go down first.
That's mean.
Oh, suckers. But yeah, we actually milked that a little bit on our TRs on the last run too before we did the transport quests. So that was pretty fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, quick quest when you've got a beefy crew doing it. It's really not too hard at all, except for that last bit.
And I love that arcane skeleton knight that's in there with his golf club bag full of swords.
Yeah, he is really cool. I do like him.
Yeah, well, I will cut you down to size with my wounding sword of Greater Dwarven Bane. I got a very good deal on it, by the way.
Yeah, he's also
I could get it.
I Dream of Jeets. He's in one of the closets in there as well. That same guy.
Is he the skeleton in the closet?
Yeah, he's the skeleton in the closet.
Guy.
I didn't know that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he'll sit there and do the same thing with his weapons, and he's pretty amusing. Yeah, I like that skeleton a lot. They should throw him in a couple more quests. He's a lot of fun. Let's see. We're a whole horde of them. Ooh, that'd be scary. Might actually be kind of tough. All right, let's move on to community news. We want to send out a thanks to folks for making it possible for us to do episode 295 and 296. So big thanks to Shamgar for all the epic educations over the years. We were able to put out our second compilation of epic education, and that was featured in the DDO Chronicle as well. And also thanks to Punch the Knife for sending in kind of a DDO fan fiction audio story, which was totally unexpected, came out of the blue, and we're like, bonus episode! Yay!
Punch the Knife? Who's he? No, you got
that's
that
not
wrong.
His name? Oh, okay.
No.
What's his name?
Hold on. It's
sorry.
Hold on.
Where did I get that from? I don't.
Jeez, if the guy wrote a whole episode for you, you have to get his name.
Oh my God.
Well, and put it up. I thought that was what it was when I was looking in the.
No, the story is called The Bent Knife.
Oh.
And and it's by Fulcor of Orion.
Oh, where did I get the? Wow. Okay, I have no idea what happened in my brain. So. All right, so Fulcor of Orion. All right, well, Sorry about that, but thanks anyway for the very cool audio.
Have you even listened to that? No, I bet you haven't even listened to it.
I have not listened to it.
Oh my god!
I've been working.
Bad short timer is syndrome sig.
I didn't even know about it until yesterday. And put it together. She got the show notes out. She told me about it in the car ride. It sounded really cool. I will be listening to it, absolutely, but I haven't done so yet. It's true.
Wow.
Outing me on the show, so it goes.
Well,
You outed yourself when you gave the wrong person the name. I have to correct you. Someone produced this really awesome narrative reading of a fan fiction for DDO.
Yeah,
and it's great. Great story, great pacing. Very nice short story called The Bent Knife, Episode 1. It's a pilot episode. So if you really like it, go to DDOcast.com, search for The Bent Knife, episode 296. Give it a listen. It's only 20 minutes. And if you like it, send us an email at DDOcast@gmail.com and let us know how much you love it. And maybe he'll make more.
I wonder how you pronounce this name. Fwelcyr? Fwelcyr.
Fulker. I that's what I would put. Fulker.
I don't know. My favorite part about this entire little instance is that the word punch is nowhere anywhere. Anywhere.
No.
It's not in the description. It's nowhere. The word punch does not occur on this page.
There was I swear, I think I got it from the email that was sent in. I was doing the community news, and I was doing seeing if there were any lightning post things, and I got it out of there. But I don't know. I'll go and take a look and check on it.
No.
Huh?
It has his real name. Oh my god.
Sometimes Siegfried just wanders off into a land of strangeness, and the forces of Zoriat take over my mind.
Are you like substituting reality for your own? You know
Always
that's dangerous.
on a constant state.
It's a very dangerous habit to substitute your own reality.
I don't know. Did I mention that there was role-playing Fridays on Sarlona? It's very exciting. And they'd like to tell you what it's all about. They've got a post up on the forums. And they were also highlighted in the Chronicle, but I got there first before I read the Chronicle. So they have RP Fridays, our weekly event on Sarlona server. The RP community on Sarlona welcomes you and your friends every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for an open tavern-style role-playing event. Events may be everything from drinking contests to riddle games to in-depth storylines. The locations differ from time to time, but mainly we stay in the Phoenix Tavern for RP Friday. Yeah, we have like Thalanis Thursdays on Thalanis, which also traditionally takes place in the Phoenix Tavern. It seems to be the role-playing tavern of choice. Last but not least, you want to join channel Sarlona RP, so all one word, SARLONARP. So join that channel if you want to keep up to breast on the role-playing action, and I think it's actually a role-playing channel. They have kind of some special rules for that, so usually if you watch people chat on it for a little bit, you'll pick up how it's supposed to work. There's different signals for whether you're talking out of character or in character. Also, check out their thread for event updates. So as things are going to happen, you can find out ahead of time what's going to happen, so you can prepare yourself for whatever it is you need to do for Role-Playing Fridays. I thought that was cool because we haven't had any role-playing news in a long time. DDO Chronicle.
I won't participate, but I might check it out.
I used to crash role-playing Thalanis Thursdays with Gabriazar the Bard. I would troll the tavern for a little while, acting obnoxious, and then wander out. But DDO Chronicle for the week. There was not much in there that we have not already talked about, except for the usual guild spotlight and the image of the week, that sort of thing. Chronicle comment for the week, however, was, what is the name of a lesser-known plane, and what are its features? And you can either make one up or talk about a real one, or quote-unquote real one from Eberron of Forgotten Realms. So, lesser-known plane, one that is known less but felt more, is Lagia. From the land of Lagia come the mighty lag beasts, which slip through the cracks from time to time, and whenever there are intense patch days, Lagia becomes into closer alignment with Eberron. And the beasts of Lag ride forth, causing greater havoc. So that's my lesser-known plane. How about you, darling?
Oh God, I'm not gonna invent one. I'm gonna.
All right.
I'm going to talk about my favorite one, and that's Mechanists. That's the Clockwork Nirvana plane. And then that comes from Planescape, basically.
Yes.
It's a lawful plane.
With
lawful.
the Modrons.
The Modrons.
March
Big,
Modrons.
giant cogs that have gravitational pull, you know. and I guess I just like that plane. I think that there should be more outer planes in general. So
I think whoever came up with that was inspired. I mean, what's more lawful than a clockwork plane? That is just right. That was an inspired piece of creativity right there.
Yeah, the Modron NPC you get in the Planescape Torment game was always really cool.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Character.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
All right, Jeff, your turn.
The Plane of Wood. And I like the Plane of Wood comes in 3 parts. There's the for neutral wood, which is bamboo because it's like a wood and a grass and doesn't really care what you think of it, so it's neutral wood. And then the lawful wood is kind of like a lumberyard, with a bunch of nicely milled wood ready to be put into perfect 90-degree angles. And then the section that's chaotic wood, I think that's pretty much really hard to find splinters. There you go.
Excellent.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I was reminded the other my other favorite weird plane from Planescape, and I forget exactly what it was called, but it was one of the hells, and it was a world of giant floating brass cubes, right? And on the surface of the cubes, the armies of hell would clash with one another, but then the cubes would like smash into each other and crush everything on the surface, and it was a wild and crazy
Is that a
place.
lawful evil plane or
I think it was one of the lawful evil planes. It might have been a chaotic evil plane. It was one of the battleground ones. It was, between the blood wars between the devils and the demons.
Okay.
Pretty neat place.
Wow.
Sweet.
All right.
Yeah, I kind of liked it. Had to me a very kind of I don't know, Hellraiser kind of a feel to it or something. All right, well, that was DDO Chronicle for the week. There is no Lightning Post. Couldn't find very much going on there. We have a little bit of other gaming news, though. 13 Age D&D books arrived in our mailbox. 13 Age is a new D20 fantasy role-playing game by Jonathan Tweet, who created 3rd edition D&D, Over the Edge, and Everway, a pretty famous game designer, and Rob Heinzu, who helped create 4th edition D&D. It's a familiar fantasy game: spellbooks, armor class, dungeons, hit points, portals to other worlds, owlbears ripping people's arms off, so on and so forth. But it's a very story-focused game where every character has a unique special ability, special relationships with different powerful forces in the land, things like that. So it's a D20 game, but it's really oriented towards let's tell a compelling story using a lot of indie and new age game mechanics that they've brought into D20. So both trying to add some drama to combat. So there's like this escalation dice that kind of makes every round of combat more intense than the previous round of combat, and also makes combats end a little faster. And just some story devices, like every character has to pick something that's unique about them, that's different than everybody else in the world, and they're kind of encouraged to be pretty wild and crazy with that. So it's pretty neat. And just, designed for quickly telling interesting stories, but still having kind of the heart of D&D in there. So pretty neat stuff, and it's a real nice book, full color, beautiful pictures. I really liked it. It's very nice. Haven't read it in detail yet, but yeah.
Did he really put owlbears in it? Because it was sounding pretty good up until you said that.
Aww, everybody loves owlbears except you, Jeff.
No, there are others who hate them too. They've gotten the mail. We know. They're out there. Oh. Yeah. I'm assuming there's owlbears in there. I haven't seen that. And
there is.
Okay.
There is an owlbear.
Once again, I've not read it.
It's one of the icons. It's actually one of the icons, I think. It's
okay.
Icon,
neat.
I think.
Nice. Yay.
It's pretty cool.
Build it right into the UI. Oh, yay. No, there is no UI. Duh, what am I talking about? It's a book.
We helped those guys with their table at the last PAX, just handing out brochures and telling people about the game and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see that come to fruition.
Sweet.
Yeah, and they've got a pretty good community as well. There's lots of people out there playing it. A lot of people playing it on G+. So if you don't know people in your local area, if you'd still like to play, there's a pretty thriving online role-playing community for it. So that's pretty cool.
I like that idea. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, you're lucky I was wrong. There's no owlbear.
Something I'm much more excited
that was
about
just
this
hopeful. That was hopeful thinking on my part. How about that?
Well, it's your imagination, darling. There can be owlbears.
I like the concept of escalating combat, though. That's pretty cool. I can think of ways that would be really, really interesting and add a lot of drama.
Yeah, it's a really neat idea. And yeah, like I said, their main inspiration was to take D&D, kind of the familiar, but then add in a lot of new game design ideas and bring it up to kind of a more modern and a little more storytelling, a little less crunch. Not that it isn't crunchy, but it's just more in that direction. So it's pretty neat. Also, we got the Numera Player's Handbook for the Numera Kickstarter is out and available to people who participated in that. Numera is a science fantasy role-playing game set in the far distant future. Humanity lives amid the remnants of 8 great civilizations that have risen and fallen on Earth. There are people of the 9th world. This new world is filled with remnants of all former worlds, bits of nanotechnology, data web threatening and still orbiting satellites, bioengineered creatures, and a myriad of strange and wondrous devices. These remnants have become known as the Numera, which is also, I think, often used as Numenera.
Numenera.
Numenera, yeah, you're all right. I'm just skipping a couple consonants there.
I think it's called punch.
Yes, punch the Numenera. There is no escape. Why do I have other people on this show? Why don't I do this, brother? no one could insult me then.
No. Sorry, Sig.
It's all right. It's okay. I can take it. Some damage reduction there. Yeah. Well, being goofy is its own reward, I suppose. Anyway, that came, and I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet, and you have. Is it cool?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Most of all, I'm just excited because they're gonna do a Torment video game for it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yes, it's like get my Planescape fixed in a different kind of way, but not exactly. But
and I can see how that kind of fits in if this world is. I mean, because Planescape Torment required the City of Doors, right? I mean, it was in Sigil. I was wondering how are they ever going to make that without Sigil? Well, here's a world that's kind of like Sigil in a way that it's all these different spheres of technology and influence coming together in one place.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I suppose maybe if there's some place where you can travel back to the different ages or something, who knows? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, kind of interesting. I don't know much about it. I know it's kind of a brainchild of Monty Cook and something that he's working on. Yeah. There will be a hardcover version eventually, and a whole role-playing system for it. And this is just
all
PDF
I have to say is that he kind of throws the D20 system out the window and has his own system.
Yeah, it's not a D20 game.
It's not a D20 game.
But from a famous D20 author, so there's a connection there.
Is it still a dice game, or is he trying to remove randomization?
It's still a dice game.
Still has dice. I heard from a friend of ours, Jeff Grubb, who had read through the rules a little bit, that it's a dice game, except the Dungeon Master doesn't roll any dice in this case. The players roll all the dice. So if you're attacking, you roll dice to see if you hit things, and if something's attacking you, you roll dice to see if you manage to avoid being hit by them. So it's a kind of,
Oh, okay. That's all right.
Yeah. And I guess when you create your character, you kind of have a kind of a concept, and that it goes, I am an XY who is a Z, who Z's or something like that. So I guess what's a good example?
I'm a Ferengi fighter pilot who likes booze. I don't know.
Something like that. I'm a Glaive Nano who does a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm a podcast host who likes to pronounce people's names incorrectly.
There you go. Oh well.
A large podcast.
I guess if I was gonna compare it to something on a quick scale, I guess it reminds me of Arthur C. Clarke's writing. I guess.
Oh.
It kind of this is the kind of world that I imagine. I don't know if it's what other people imagine.
That's not a bad thing at all.
Because it reminds me a little of Cinnabar.
Oh, shame on you for mentioning that. Shame on you. Horror.
No doubt, somewhere Oh no, I'm going to forget. Raven McCracken is formulating a lawsuit.
Oh well.
All right. Well, we're coming towards the end of the show. We should definitely mention that in 2 short weeks, in only 2 weeks, we will be at Gen Con and we'll be performing DDOcast Live episode 300 in front of a packed audience, or no, at least a lively audience.
Or at least our closest friends and family.
Yeah.
I would settle
Mostly
for
not asleep audience.
I would settle for one notch above apathetic audience.
Yeah, there we go. No, we'll have a good time. How could they not? How could they not?
Yes.
We'll have some fun, and we'll play some games during the event. We'll give away a bunch of stuff, and we'll just generally have a good time. Not saying goodbye to DDOcast, but saying goodbye to a full-time commitment to DDOcast, and hello to doing it whenever we please.
Well, hello to I'm not going to do any work and I'll just show up and talk maybe. Or something like that.
I don't know. I'll do something. In a way, I'm kind of more inspired because I can just do little bits and pieces, just things that I think are interesting as little audio bits and submit those in. So I think that'll be kind of fun.
Okay.
As it is, doing the regular show takes up most of my DDO mind space for the most part. So I don't have a lot of inspiration to do extra bits all that often. Every once in a while, but anyway, we're going to have a lot of fun with that. That's going to be on Friday. It's at 4 p.m. It's at one of the hotels nearby. If you go onto the Gen Con website, you can search up for DDO or DDOcast, and you will definitely find that event. Also, I believe some of the Turbine folks will be, DDO folks will be there. They're going to be, I don't know what booth they're part of, whether there's a Turbine booth or whether they're hanging out with the WotC guys. I think they're probably hanging out with the WotC guys.
I think it's going to be another WotC thing. So.
Yep.
Are they going to have a display and stuff, or are they just going to be standing there?
I don't know. I'm guessing they'll have a display. They have a couple, the last year at PAX, they had a little kiosk area in the D&D pavilion where they were showing DDO. And they were actually right next to their competitors from Neverwinter Night. So it was kind of like digital Dungeons & Dragons area, right? And so they had different digital D&D interpretations. And I think they're probably doing that again. And they're also doing like a panel on digital Dungeons & Dragons. Just kind of talking about the history of that and the future and all that sort of thing. So that might be pretty cool as well. You can find out a little, not much, but a little bit more about it at Tolero's latest community update video. She talks about it briefly. So, and I think gives a URL where you can sign up for it and all that kind of good stuff. So, if our schedule is free, we may well indeed try to make it.
And then don't forget that there might be a DDO meetup party. So go to the forums and sign up for that.
There for sure is.
Yeah, there for sure is, and I don't think there's any real sign up process. It's more sort of like you need to know that it exists, and then you go and try to find it.
It's a quest.
It is a quest.
Somebody needs to take it on themselves to just call a restaurant and reserve some space.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
Yeah.
Notice I'm saying someone other than me.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of that over here as well. Not my gig.
Like,
I want to attend, but don't really want to organize that. So, but I don't know. We'll sort it out. One way or another, we'll try to be there.
Hopefully, people who want to go to the DDO get-together party will also come to DDOcast beforehand, and then we can all figure it out then.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably some of them. But I'm sure some people had games that they just had to play that happened to, or maybe they don't want to see us. I mean, that could happen, right?
Well, the guy that started the thread said he was going to be at the DDOcast event. So at least one of the people that is not in charge but is involved will be at the thing. We'll probably be able to tell us what's going on, and we'll call him out too. We'll say, "Hey, where the hell are we going to do this party at anyway?" And I'm sure he'll tell everybody there. So that'll be cool. Yeah, I don't know, and we'll come to that. If we have leftover prizes, we'll bring those along too. Or buttons. Man, have we got some DDOcast buttons somewhere. We've got a big, huge satchel
Everybody's
of them,
going to get at least 3 buttons.
Yeah, whether you like them or not. We'll be leaving them as tips. They'll be everywhere.
I think it's called reverse pickpocketing.
Yeah. DDO merch blowout at Gen Con this year. Should be kind of fun. I don't know. What else? Does anybody know what else are you doing at Gen Con there, Jeff?
Well, I'm in some board games. That's mainly it. We're doing sudden brain freeze. Mayfair Games has this thing every year where if you play 5 of their games, one in each of 5 different genres, and they rotate this every time, so you don't know in advance what's what. You collect little colored ribbons, and if it looks, it identifies you as amongst the dorkiest people attending the convention of dorks. But that's okay. And if you get all 5, you can get 50% off one of their games. The
Cool.
downside of this, though, is we never finish the quest until it's like Sunday, and all their good games are sold out. So we take 50% off of some, who knows whatever they have.
Yeah. And they laugh all the way to the bank.
Yeah, it's fun. And they have a big giveaway, a big contest. They do a big giveaway. And the other thing that's really cool, and I hope they do it again this year, is Rio Grande, the board game company. They usually get a big room, and they have all of their games there, and you just go in anytime you want for free and play. And there's always people to play with, and there's always people who will teach you how to play a game. And sometimes they bring in a cart full of, hey, sundaes for everyone, or roast beef sandwiches for everyone. I mean, you can't subsist off of the Rio Grande room, okay? It's not that regular, but nonetheless, there it is, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to expose yourself to games that are otherwise maybe hard to find.
Cool.
So, does that one require general tickets, or can you just walk in and that's it?
It's in the convention center, so I think you'd be frowned upon if you're wandering around in the convention center without a badge, right?
Okay. No, I mean, you know how you have general tickets that you can buy for $2 a piece?
Oh no, that one doesn't take any tickets.
Oh, okay, that's what I wanted.
It's just go.
Cool.
It's free. And I might be wrong about even needing a badge, but I think you should probably have a badge.
Yeah.
Get a badge.
If you're going to go to Gen Con and pay for the hotel prices, the badge is not very expensive.
Oh my god. Do not remind me how much we're paying for our hotel, okay?
Right? Yes, it is. It is nearly free.
Oh my god. Okay, now I have to, you have started me on a roll.
Uh-oh.
So now I have basically, we missed out on the Gen Con special just by a couple hours. And we had to get hotel by another means. So Jeff was lucky. He got a really good deal on his Gen Con hotel. And we were not lucky, and let's just say it feels like I'm paying my mortgage twice.
Oh yeah. I think it's a karma
That's what I'm
thing.
just saying.
No, I think it's a karma thing, because last year we didn't get lucky either, and I ended up spending $400 a night, and they have a crazy tax there too. It was insane.
Oh.
I'm going on a honeymoon.
Ouch.
I'm going on a honeymoon to the Caribbean, to an all-inclusive resort that costs less than staying at a hotel.
I know. It's it's the same thing. It's I could go to Hawaii for 10 days on that same price. Hello.
Best not to think about it.
Too late. You reminded me.
Well.
What are you going to do with the money anyway, right? This is why you make it, to spend it and have a good time.
Yeah. All right. We will have fun. It will be great.
Grr.
All right.
Grr.
And hopefully everybody else will too. If you guys are going to Gen Con, you can send us an email and let us know. We'll definitely be looking to get together for some more games and things as we wander around. I'm pretty busy with car tournaments and this and that and the other thing, but there'll definitely be. There's always some time. Just kicking around, having lunches and dinners and
stuff. How about
that?
Yeah. I might actually Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ann. I'm sorry.
Oh, and I was just gonna say I might actually work for a friend on a booth. I'm okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I've posted my schedule, and some of because a couple of people are saying, well, can we get together for a game? And the answer is, probably not. However, some of the events that I'm signed up for have spaces available. So yeah, we can get together for a game. My schedule's on DDO Gamer. Go check it out.
Yeah, cool. It's a good way to do it.
Yes, if you want to stalk Jeff at Gen Con, go for it.
There you go. Stalk me at will. I've always kind of wanted to have a stalker.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Doesn't that really mean I mean, that's kind of cool in a creepy sort of you've arrived sort of way, right?
Yeah, probably so. I'm sure once you get them, you'd rather not. But it's nice to get the notoriety, at least for a little while. All right. Well, let's wrap up today's show. And a big thanks to Ann and Jeff, and for DDOcast contributors, Shamgar and Ludwig, and soon-to-be DDOcast host, Shamgar. Everyone who listens to the show, we thank you very much for listening. And Turbine and Wizards, thanks for making cool games that we like to play. If you want to be a part of the show or just say hi, you can call us at 707-DDOcast or email us at ddocast@gmail.com. Until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chest level appropriate. Have fun, and don't forget to stalk Jeff Hanna.